Welcome, I'm Dr. Melina Roberts, and I want to talk about something called leaky brain. Now, I think that often we will hear about something called leaky gut, but there's something called leaky brain. And what we'll typically see is we will see some neurological signs in terms of leaky brain. We'll see that brain fog. We can also see some changes in moods like anxiety, depression, and this can all be attributed to a leaky brain picture. So I want to talk about how this happens. And one of the things is that I talk about a lot is the integrity of the lining of the gut. And so what happens is that, and it's actually, and leaky brain is actually an extension of this. So what happens is that, we could be eating foods that aren't agreeing with our gut. We could be taking in toxic loads that are injuring the microbiome of the digestive tract. So that's one of the first defenses of the gut lining. And then with that damage, what can happen, and with that inflammation, what we can get is we can get some damage to the tight junctions that hold those cells together that line the digestive tract. The lining of the digestive tract is just one cell deep. And then in between those cells are these things called tight junctions. They're proteins that hold those cells together. And what can happen is that if we have a lot of inflammation in the gut and that microbiome gets damaged, then we can have a breakdown of these proteins called tight junctions. So then we end up with these spaces between the cells. So food that's not completely digested ends up in the bloodstream. Now what happens is that we get these breakdown of the tight junctions in the lining of the digestive tract, and we end up with undigested foods. We could have some toxic loads, and we can get some inflammatory factors happening as the body's trying to attack these foreign bodies that are coming into the blood that really shouldn't be getting into the blood that way. They shouldn't be coming in through the gut lining, but instead they're making their way into your bloodstream because of these little holes in the digestive tract, often called leaky gut or hyperpermeability, intestinal hyperpermeability. But what we're having is then we're ending up with a number of substances in the blood. Now, we now have this barrier called the blood-brain barrier. And the blood-brain barrier is your barrier between the blood and your nervous system. And this is also a one cell deep barrier that's held together by something called tight junctions. And those tight junctions that protect the nervous system can also be damaged the same way that the tight junctions in the lining of our digestive tract can get damaged. So then we get these damage to these tight junctions, so we end up with these holes between our cells, the blood-brain barrier, and so then we can have toxic loads that are moving from the blood into the nervous system through these holes in the blood-brain barrier because we can get a breakdown of those tight junctions. So this is really what can be happening in something called leaky brain, and we are actually seeing this quite often, and it's because of that breakdown in the gut lining, those tight junctions in the gut lining making their way into the blood, and then we have the breakdown of the blood-brain barrier, the tight junctions of the blood-brain barrier. So I hope that all makes sense to you, and you can kind of start to put things together in terms of what's actually going on on a physiological level in the body. All right, so thank you so much for watching. I encourage you to share this with your friends, to press the like button, to make a comment below, and until next time, continue to learn, grow, and build health. And I'll see you in the next video.